Well, hello there, guys. I still don't have an intro for this channel, which seems like is going to be my new intro now, to just say that I don't have an intro. But yeah, welcome to the live match review of Chelsea 1, Wolverhampton Wanderer 1. I'm hearing playback. I'm getting confused because earphones, sorry. But yeah, this is the live review. Obviously, I'm joined by Sadiq. I'm joined by Worldwide Chelsea. So, how you doing, my mate? Of course, his link to his channel is down in the description. We did something like this on his channel on Thursday and I enjoyed it. So I thought, let's do that again. Like I say, link to his channel is down in the description. So be sure to subscribe to him. I do hope that, you like me doing these things. I might do, some of these by myself as well here and there at some point. But yeah, getting into the game, mate, what did you think, except frustrating?
Yeah, man. First of all, thanks for having me on, of course. Frustrating. I mean, obviously, it was always going to be a difficult game against Wolves. They had 9 points against top 6 teams, the best outside top 6. And, they only had one chance and they scored from that. Literally, it was just that one chance and they literally took us apart. The first half for me was just so boring, dull. There was nothing happening, and it's all down to the team selection. Obviously, Kovacic for me off the ball on the ball is okay, but in the final third, he just doesn't have that drive, or doesn't shoot, no goals. And obviously, we all want Hudson-Odoi to start, but it's always the case. It's sorry, man, frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with the Kovacic thing, except that I don't think Barkley is any different or any better or any more dangerous, in all honesty. Like, whenever he does shoot, he puts it in row Z. So, and Ruben, as we obviously found out on Thursday in the press conference as well, we found out on Friday, but in the embargo press conference on Thursday, Sarri confirmed that Ruben isn't ready to play 90 minutes for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So not ready to start yet. So, maybe in the next couple of games, he might be able to start and come off after an hour. Sure. That will be the next thing. But, I feel like at this stage, we don't really have many other options. And, the one, exactly like you said, we dominated the whole game. We didn't create enough, many chances. I mean, Wolves basically played with a back 5 and a midfield 3 right in front of them. It was basically a back 8 at times. Like, it was ridiculously difficult to break them down. And any team will struggle to break them down. And there's a reason why they've gotten a lot of very good results against the best teams, because that's how they play against them. And that's also why they lost to someone like Cardiff, because against Cardiff, they have to control the game. They have to play the game. And they can't just sit back and hit on the counter.
Yeah.
And that's what they did today. And, it cost us. Obviously, we didn't really do anything. I mean, in my opinion, we had a clear-cut penalty denied in the first half for a clear handball, 2 in basically 1 minute. The first one I can debate, maybe not give that, although it was just as much of a handball as Kimpembe's against United for PSG. Yeah. So apparently that's also a penalty, which I don't agree with, but apparently it is. So, the next one, like a minute later, was clear as day. And I think if we get that penalty and we score, which we probably would have done, I think we win that pretty comfortably. I think we're at a bit of a different stage now than we were, obviously, when we played them away and lost, even though we took the lead. But second half, it was one mistake. Like, Wolves had one moment, literally. Okay, they had two, but then the attacker bottled it with that handball. But that goal, though, like, that pissed me off. Like, literally, every possible thing about that went wrong. Like, how do we concede from Bolly, whatever, however you pronounce his name, just kicking the ball high and long with his back turned? He just kicked it away, somehow found a teammate. Then they, our midfield was pushed way too far forward. The defense didn't push up with them, enough.
Yeah.
And Luiz comes out. Kante still, has to run back. The guy goes past Luiz. And then they're somehow through. Emerson just stood there like he didn't even care. He basically was doing an Alonso, didn't even bother running. He was just jogging. Like, you're quick, mate. You could have caught up. Like, people tell me, David Luiz didn't run either. I'm like, yeah, but David Luiz isn't fast. He wouldn't have caught up anyway. But Emerson might have done. So bloody try, do you know what I mean? And then obviously the deflection of Aspi, I think Kepa might have saved that, if Aspi doesn't get that deflection, it might have taken Kepa. So it's just a really frustrating one, don't you think? It's like, it's just one of them days. It wasn't just going our way. And then thankfully Hazard obviously got the late goal to at least rescue a point, which was good. It was a very nice finish. Could Patrizio have done a bit better? I guess so.
I guess so, yeah.
I'll take the point obviously with, the fight for top 4. It is very frustrating. Now, third isn't solely in our hands anymore, depending on the result between Arsenal and United now and a bit. Top 4 is still in our hands. It's obviously a frustrating result. And doesn't it feel like a bit, it's kind of back to square one now? The optimism is slightly gone. Maybe the late, equaliser helped. But I feel like to an extent, the optimism is gone. The little run we started is gone. I don't know. What do we do now?
I, I'm looking at the subs he made, yeah, and although it was perfect subs that we wanted to see, I just feel like it was a message that maybe, if we don't get these kind of results and we're in danger, it could be sacked in my eyes. I think he just made these moves in order to say, look, I've done what everyone wanted. Here it is.
Yeah.
Because this didn't happen before. Like when
I
you look at
completely
it
agree. Yeah.
properly, this is the first time he's changed it up. So
I was surprised. Willian for Jorginho was a big sub. Like that
yes,
was a big sub for Sarri, and
that's what I'm
fair
saying.
play for doing it. And it was a bit of a strange like formation. It was kind of a mix of a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-2-4. It
It
was a
was
bit of everything because
yeah,
you can't even define where Hazard played because Hazard just played everywhere.
everywhere.
So
Free
basically, you
roll.
had 10 players plus Hazard.
Exactly. That's what it was. So
Yeah,
it was good to see, of course. Like hopefully from now we see a lot more, and hopefully some of these players do start the games. But it's not the end of the world. Obviously me and you're not celebrating the draw, but we need
no,
to
not
think
at
long
all. I'm
term.
gutted.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah.
gutted.
We just need to think long term that he's making these small changes, and eventually, like he's gonna get it right properly. And a point at the end will benefit us when we look at it in May. I'm sure we'll look back at it and say, you
Hopefully.
know what? Remember that live stream we spoke about? The draw we got towards the end of the game. Hopefully, it matters, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I put out a tweet during the game to basically a poll asking whether people think we can turn this around. I think I was like 20 minutes ago at that point, or whether at least a draw, or whether we'll just lose the game. And in all honesty, at that point, I didn't
Yeah,
think we would come back, and we did at least get a point out of it. So that is a slight positive. 1 point is better than 0 points. It's as simple as that. And like you said, I mean, the substitutions, I didn't think Hudson-Odoi did anything, like absolutely anything, except lose the ball constantly.
yeah,
I
I
mean, he had
agree.
one good cross to Ruben that Ruben just about didn't get on the end of. But other than that, love to share. Hudson-Odoi was, I wouldn't say shocking, but he was worse than Pedro was. Not that Pedro was particularly great. I mean,
No one was.
because yeah, that is true. But that's why I say it's such a weird game, because someone put in the chat here, we were really bad. I don't think we were really bad.
Yeah,
We weren't really good either. Of course not. We should have moved a lot more. We should have passed the ball a lot quicker. That is the same thing I've been saying for the last 4 months, that we don't do. We don't move enough and we don't pass quickly enough, of course, yes. But when you run against the wall of 8 people, essentially, plus a goalkeeper, so we're basically running against the wall of 9 people constantly, you're not going to find space. And it's easy to say, I'll just cross the ball more. How the hell do you expect Higuain to win a header against 3 centre-backs? No chance. Is he going to win one, in a good position that he can actually get on target with some power on it? And then, crowd the box more? Yes. But are Hazard or Pedro going to, win a loose ball on the other end against the wing-backs and the midfielder that drops deep? Probably not either. So that's why it's such a tricky game. And like I said in the beginning, that's why, Wolves do get very good results against, the top 6 teams. And it's just annoying. Wolves, fair play. I mean, I'm not going to fault them. Fair play to Wolves. They did what they had to do. The penalty that we didn't get, that annoys me still. But like I say, it's just one of them days. I am very annoyed and gutted that we didn't win. But it doesn't feel like one where I have to be angry at the players. Yes, I'm a bit annoyed at the goal and how it happened, because to me there was, mistakes by about 3 or 4 players in the whole build-up to that, and getting unlucky with the deflection. But other than that, I mean, what can I say? We played against a good team that sat really deep, that defended really well. We didn't get a penalty that we should have gotten, and then they scored a pretty lucky goal from the only chance they had all game. It's just one of them days, really. Like, I don't really know what else to say, in all honesty.
I also wanted to add, maybe you was going to mention it anyway, but Higuain, for me, I think he had a very, very poor game.
You think? I'm definitely won't say he had a good game, but I think it comes back to the point that I just made with basically them having 8, defenders, a wall of 8, and he's kind of in between all of them. So it is tricky. I mean, he had 1 shot, 2 shots first half, one got blocked, one was from a really tight angle that he can't really do much with. His hold-up play could have been a bit better, I agree, and he needs to release the ball a bit quicker when he drops deep to receive it. He keeps it for a bit too long.
Yes.
I still much prefer him to Giroud.
I know how much you dislike Giroud. Nice. Laurenz dislikes Giroud.
I know, honestly, I really dislike Giroud. I love him when he scores, but when he doesn't, I'm annoyed. Yeah, I mean, I'm slightly exaggerating. He's not that bad. But, at some point, it's such a tricky review or whatever you want to call this to make.
Yeah.
Because what is there to say? We got, I don't want to say unlucky either. It's just like a mix of unlucky and not good enough. I mean, going forward, obviously, but interesting to see what the result in the afternoon game will now be between Arsenal and United. And
I'm
then
gonna
obviously
be.
Kiev. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I would be very annoyed if it ends up a draw and we haven't
Really?
taken advantage of this.
Well, we still kind of need a draw, even though it will be annoying that we didn't win, but we kind of still need a draw. I feel like.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
frustrating, man. I don't think there was anyone to blame for how bad we were, but I don't think anyone played that good. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I actually, even though you obviously scored the equaliser, and that was a great. Can I speak? No, a great shot and a great finish. But I thought Hazard was poor. Like a lot of his movement just didn't make sense. Like a lot of his movement was like made it impossible for Kovacic, Ruben, or Emerson to ever find him. Like he kept running in places and in ways that how are they ever going to find you, mate, when you're on the move? They always had to wait for him to stop running and then feed him. And then obviously the whole move is kind of broken down already. So, I didn't particularly like that. I thought Emerson today was, again, not shocking, but he's meant to do so much more going forward than Alonso. Well, I mean, did you see that cross late on? I mean, I'm not sure. He really didn't do anything.
I agree. But the thing is, I feel like he did try, kind of, in a way. Like in the
he did try, but I mean, I wouldn't. I don't really think a lot of the time that Alonso doesn't try. In tracking back, Alonso doesn't try. But going forward, I feel like he does. He's just not good enough. But that's what it felt like with Emerson today. And then he didn't track back for when we conceded. I'm not saying he definitely would have stopped us from conceding.
Yeah.
But he could have at least tried, because I thought there was at least a small chance of him getting across to that pass that found Jimenez in the end. I thought there was a chance of him being able to intercept that if he ran all the way, like Aspi did, like Kante did. Those two sprinted their asses off. Emerson was just walking. He wasn't even jogging anymore. He was just walking. And that shit like that annoys me. And it's, a lot of people, because, people got on Alonso's back, and so did I, rightly so. I think we all got on his back, rightly so. But that was one of the things that we criticized him for. And I haven't seen anyone tweet that about Emerson. Don't know why. I haven't seen anyone say that.
True.
Maybe a lot of people will now. I mean, obviously, people have to see the replay and whatever, obviously, if they were at the game and stuff. I'm just gutted, really. I'm just annoyed because
this review
like, yesterday and that.
Yeah, this review is just like a very difficult one to speak about, because it's in the middle. Like you said, not good enough, but kind of unlucky in a way. Like they only had one chance, and I don't know what else to say, man. I mean, I think we're Everton next
in the league. We do,
yeah. Away or home? Do you know?
No, we're away. Goodness, but still, like, look at them yesterday. Like, what do Everton do at the moment? They take the lead against Newcastle. Then Newcastle miss a penalty. Everton make it 2-0 a minute later, and then Newcastle still beat them 3-2.
3-2.
What the hell is Everton? I mean, if we don't win there, I mean, they're leaking goals. If we don't win there, top four is gone.
Yeah,
I am confident that we will get the win there. Let's hope we can leave a few players at home on Thursday. We don't really need to take everyone to Kiev anymore with the 3-0 lead. So, I still think top four is very much so a possibility. Do you? Especially with the Spurs loss yesterday, of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think teams right now are struggling, that are challenging for the third, fourth, fifth, sixth place.
It's a lot of games. I feel like that's what's coming into it now more and more. The World Cup, a lot of competitions, no winter break. I feel like it's catching up with people. Like Liverpool were slightly fortunate today. I mean, I didn't watch the whole game. I know they won 4-2. I watched it until the 1-1, which was a fortunate goal. Burnley's goal was fortunate as well, but they didn't look fully at it. They haven't done for a little while. Neither did City. Sterling did, but other than that, City were like, the City still score their goals, and so do Liverpool most of the time. That's why they still get good wins, but it's not as easy for them as it was in October or something. And that's why I feel like fatigue is just coming in for everybody.
For sure. And obviously the fixtures, obviously Tottenham's got a massive disadvantage in my eyes compared to the other teams, especially after.
Yeah, they need to lose to Liverpool next week.
Yeah, that's the main one.
Yeah, if we beat Everton and they lose at Liverpool, and then obviously we still have that game against Brighton in hand, which I still don't think has been set for any particular date just yet. I think, I mean, because the problem is Brighton are still in the FA Cup. I think that's the problem. Otherwise, it would have been set already.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, and hope that Spurs lose to Liverpool and we just beat
Everton and move on. Yeah, that's
exactly.
definitely what we need. I think this game is just like, we take the point, we move on, start again. Obviously, we've been winning a couple games recently, so you win
Let's
some.
be annoyed, we have every right to be annoyed, but let's not just be angry and lash out and say Sarri's awful and this is awful and that is awful. Like, Sarri did what a lot of fans asked him to do today. Yes, he got us a point. By that point, that goal by Hazard could have happened whether he made any of those substitutions or not. Didn't make a single difference. Those substitutions didn't change when Hazard scored that goal. Like, let's please remember that. He tried. Was it particularly better? No. Why? In my opinion, because we had to drop Loftus-Cheek deeper. And I wanted further forward. He still got into the box, but not always. Sometimes a bit late because he had a lot of distance to cover. So, but it did show that he was willing to adapt to try something different, which I think is good. Which I think also shows the Sarri haters that there might be more to him than people expected or thought of, say, a few weeks ago.
Sure.
And now, obviously, we've been going for 20 minutes or something now. If any of you I've just basically decided to do this now before we end streams. Let's just do like 2 questions that people have in the chat, and then we'll basically.
Very good.
So, people, if you have any questions, make them good because I'm going to choose 2. So, if there's 50, I'm going to choose 2 good ones. So, make them interesting. Of course, like I said earlier, already subscribe to obviously Sadiq, subscribe to Worldwide Chelsea, subscribe to myself. I'm very close to 2,000 subscribers actually. I wasn't like 1,970 earlier, which is very cool. So, if we could hit 2,000 now, that would just be absolutely sick. How many people are still in here? 97 people. So unless all of you are subscribed, if there's like 30 of you that aren't subscribed, subscribe and we can hit 2,000. That would be class. So we're on 1,974. So how about we hit that? 104 people watching now. So subscribe, all of you, please. Drop a like. And then, 2,000 subscribers would be very nice.
Very good. See some questions.
A striker to buy. I mean, we kind of no. Who did I cover this with? See, I'm doing too many things these days. I've recorded 3 podcasts, and now I'm doing this. Tomorrow I'm recording another podcast. Anyway, striker. Let's mention it because why not? It was the first question that popped up. Who do you have in mind? If actually that is stupid. We can't buy anyone. Sorry, I forgot.
There's some good questions coming up now. Some good questions coming up. There's a lot of questions coming up.
Oh yeah. I agree. You choose one and I choose one. All right.
You want me to start first?
No, you go on. Take one.
Should Aspi be replaced?
Well, I
think he should be talking about next season, of course. I don't think current season should be replaced, like next season.
That's Acosta now.
I say next season. It's a bit annoying because I feel offensively he's not the type of player that Sarri wants.
Yeah. Still, he was better offensively than Emerson today.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Because defensively is his class. Is a warrior. He gives everything. He nearly stopped the Wolves goal, but was very unfortunate. But offensively, for me, his crosses, his final choice. Some balls over the top, just not good enough. But then again, it does depend on the service, how the good movement from strikers, if it's going to be happening or not. That does play a part as well. But the crosses I've seen from him in the final third, just not good enough. And I feel, I don't know how you pronounce it. I think Sarri likes, obviously, that player from Napoli days. And if we're going to back Sarri, we're going to have to play the way he wants to play, basically, which is the case. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we at least at this stage right now, it seems like we won't be able to sign anyone this summer. Of course, we're probably gonna, go to court and try to appeal that whole situation. Not appeal the whole sanction, but appeal the fact that while investigation is still ongoing, that the ban isn't uplifted. That's what I think we're gonna appeal. Because that wasn't the case for all the other times that it happened, in previous years or whatever to the other clubs. I think that might change, but as speaking right now, we won't be able to sign anyone. So. Don't really care for Acosta in all honesty, and he doesn't really play much anyway. So that's why I'd say sell Acosta because we can sell players and sell him, get whatever 15, 20 million, whatever we can get for him, and just get Reece James back. Like with the amount of games that Acosta has played, you might as well get Reece James back. And he is obviously attacking wise a lot more what Sarri wants. You can still have Aspi, who does a decent enough job. I think he's also improved a lot this season in that role, like compared to say September, October, November time. He's a lot better going forward now, even though our results overall have been quite poor these last few months. Him as an individual, even though some performances have been dreadful, I didn't think he was great against Fulham first half. I didn't think he was great. Obviously the City game and stuff when we got battered, he wasn't great because no one was great.
Yeah.
But I think Reece James is the only valid option to get at least as a backup. And then if the season goes well, if he does play well, we can make Aspie the backup. I think that would be very nice. And as for a second question, because that was a pretty decent question, what do you think is? Let's go with that. What do you think is the reason for our lack of intensity? Do you want to start with that?
I just feel some of the players are just obviously not up there to be playing in the first 11, basically. And it also does depend on the opposition's game plan. Today we had Wolves that sat back. It's not always going to be perfect, but this is where players like Loftus-Cheek have to be starting, because he's more direct. He can make those certain runs, make things happen, and get a mistake out of Wolves, for example. So it just depends. And I feel Chelsea do a lot better when we go behind. I just don't know why. Like, we don't, for example, Pedro, for me, he comes alive for like 5-10 minutes when we go behind. And then
Really?
he'll go off.
It's interesting because I feel like this season, whenever we go behind, we like bottle it. We're like gone. And okay, today was different, but a lot of games, as soon as we go behind, we throw it all down the drain. Like nothing is happening anymore. I get what you mean. And the intensity today improved. The passing got a bit sharper, a bit quicker once we went that goal down. But that's probably what the question is hinting at as well. Where was that intensity before we went the goal down? And obviously, it is obviously like you said. Sorry, say again.
Mentality or the motivation from the manager, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky because obviously the Loftus-Cheek thing, I tweeted that first half as well, especially in the first half, even more so than second. I thought this is the perfect example of the game, why we need Ruben Loftus-Cheek to be fit and starting as soon as possible. That was just the perfect example of the game, why you need him. Because, yes, Barkley is tall and strong like Loftus-Cheek. He's not as strong and, as Loftus-Cheek. Barkley loses the ball way too easily. But he can't shoot, but also he's not good at dribbling. And Loftus-Cheek is tall and strong, can score, and actually is good with the ball at his feet, which is very important when you run against the wall of 8 people. So that's why I think him being in that side would have made a huge difference today. But he's not ready to start, so we have to accept that. And he came on, he got a good half hour today, which was nice to see. So he didn't only get like 10, 15, 20 minutes. He got a good half hour today, and he did well, I thought. Loftus-Cheek had a good game when he came on. I also thought Jorginho today was actually good defensively.
I saw your tweets on that.
Yeah.
He was tweeting about that.
So, the intensity, it's fatigue. I'm 100% certain of that it is fatigue to an extent, because no one spoke about lack of fatigue, lack of intensity when we won 18 games on a bounce at the start of the season, did they?
Yeah.
I think fatigue certainly has to play a part in that, statement. And other than that, I don't know. I don't really know. It's just a problem of players here and there, because I can't really pick out individual players and like, you lack intensity. Do you know what I mean? Alonso, yeah. But other than that, Willian here and there, but Willian didn't start today. So who is one down like, you lack intensity? There's no one in the team where I'm like, it's you. You know what I mean? So that's why it's tricky to say what the overall reason is, if you get what I mean. But yeah, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I think we went a bit longer than we initially planned anyway. But, I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it, mate. I hope the viewers enjoyed it.
For sure.
Exactly. So this was good. Again, subscribe to me, please. I want to hit 2,000 subscribers. That'd be great. Subscribe to Sadiq. The link is down in the description. Subscribe to him. We might be doing a few more collabs over the next 2 weeks and whatever, because, now I'm doing my own thing. So why not? Do you know what I mean? So check him out on Twitter as well, of course. I mean, Worldwide Chelsea on Twitter. I actually forgot to put his Twitter in the description. I do apologize about that. But, you all know him anyway, chances are. So follow me on Twitter. Go on.
It's very important that you hit the bell notification for Laurenz. It's not just about subscribing. You must hit the bell notification to stay all tuned. Laurenz TV, force. And obviously, don't forget to subscribe to me and hit the bell notification, as obviously I'll be posting my review very shortly as well. But thanks for having me on, Laurenz, of course. Hopefully we collab again.
For sure. I mean, thank you for coming on. And yeah, that's really it from us. It's up to Chelsea's upwards and onwards, as it always is. And we'll see you next time.
Take care, man.